Alright guys, and this is Black Dragon, and today we've got another exciting match to look at. This will be a best of 7 series. And over here, starting in the left corner, in the blue trunks, we have our very famous German player, formerly Terran, now Zerg, and now in a brand new expansion, it's Liquid's TLO. And over here, his opponent in the right, also a German national as well, so we do have a civil war of some sorts. It's Maus's Hasuobs. And this matchup has been very dynamic lately. You've got tons of timings going out and just new things coming out for both the TOS and the Zerg. We've got new units, new compositions. It's really been exciting. And what's so fascinating about it is these players have no idea just kind of how, timings and metagames going to evolve. So, every week, every tournament, you're just seeing all these new builds. And it almost brings you back to beta, the difference being that there's already, a pretty well-established meta from the last few years of StarCraft. And while there are new units, the base game's kind of already set, so people already have, their basic openings and, fast expansions. So where you see the game from here, where you're going to see the game go from here is going to be really exciting. Alright, seem to have a very normal 15 pull, 15 hatch out of Liquid TLO. Always likes to go for that early economy. Zerg early game has not changed that much. Even with the expansion, they don't have any new units in the beginning tier. For those of you new to Heart of the Swarm, so anyone can just, pretty much stick to those old Zerg openings because it's not going to differ that much. Because the sooner you get that hatch rate down, the sooner you can get access to that larva, which is really the crux of the Zerg economy. But over here, out of Hasu, we do have the Nexus first. This is a very greedy build on a very short map. It's really interesting to see him do this. I'm sure he's familiar with TLO, that he is known for some all-in builds sometimes, so I'm very surprised without even a scout, he's just going to go ahead and drop that Nexus right away. But there's a very small window through which he can be punished, and because we did have that hatch first, it's not going to be an issue. But, also equally greedy by TLO. A lot of, even at the pro level, you'll see In Control from EG do this a lot. If he catches their opponent, go hatch first, he'll cannon rush right away. There's no real way for the Zerg to punish it. It causes them tons of problems. But, that said, both opponents opting for the greedy build, so they're pretty much on even footing. We have the base pair of Zerglings coming out as well. Now, at this point of the game, Protoss just wants to get as much information to make sure everything's safe and just wants to go as macro heavy as they can possibly go. Zerg, at about the 8-minute plus mark, so we're halfway there, is going to be able to start turning out tons of units if they get in 3 base. Now, as soon as TLO gets this confirmation that there is an expansion down over here, he's probably going to go ahead and go to a very fast third. And then a macro hatch shortly after, because the Zerg is almost like the Terran matchup. They want to be up on bases. So very important for the Zerg player to have that very strong economy started. Now where the game within a game begins is around that 8-minute mark is almost like the magic number, because a few things are going to happen in 8 minutes. For one, if there were any kind of quick 4-gate gasless pressure, it would have just started attacking the possible third, probably about right here or here, with about 6 Zealot, 7 Zealot, plus 1 attack, and hit about right around 7:30. But as you move on to 8 minutes, the scout over here at the natural is going to be really important because the number of gases, and there goes the encoder, the number of gases taken by the Protoss player is going to give you a lot of information as far as their tech path. Typically, you see 1 gas, they're going for some type of, safe expand to a third. They're going to try to secure a third. Not going to be any pressure. 2 gases, though, you're going to have a tech attack, which could be Stargate, Blink Stalkers, Dark Templars. Pretty much an alarm's just going to go off for the Zerg player. That's all around the 8-minute mark. At about 8:30, that's when then pressures and timings and all these attacks from the Protoss can start happening. So the next few minutes, major decisions have to be made on both sides as to how they're going to take this game. We'd like to note on our map as well that this is a very, in my opinion, Protoss favored map. If you look at all these choke points, it's very difficult for the Zerg to find a good engage, and it's very hard for them to find a surround. If you look at this, the army is about this big anyway, so there's no real way, and this is one of the wider parts of the map, that, a concave can get formed from the Zerg, which is so important from them. Line of pressure going on back and forth. We do have decent Overlord positioning. Moving to the 7-minute mark, though, it's not going to look like TLO is going to be able to get a decent scout off on the gas timings. As far as right now, he doesn't even know if there's actually a Nexus down. He can assume, but not too sure. Going to probably fly into the main, sacrifice his Overlord in a little bit just to get some kind of idea, because we are nearing that 8-minute mark. Things need to start happening. Creep spread starting out decently strong. Third base already down. Going to income, we are dead even in workers. We do have the double gas very early from Hasu. And following that up, he's got 2 more gateways down. And we do have a little bit of Stargate play as well to go ahead and take out this Overseer. Had to sacrifice. Unfortunately, I don't think he actually even saw anything. No, he didn't. And it was an Overseer on top of it, so that just wasted some gas as well. Very, very tricky move. Look at this positioning of these buildings. Everything's in the front and the back in these very awkward spots that just aren't going to get scouted. So right now, TLO is playing completely in the dark. He has to guess. We do have a Spider nearing completion. And that might negate this drop play potentially coming from Hasu. You have lots of gateways, 1 Stargate, but we do have the Void Prism coming out as well. Not Warp Prism, I called it a Void Prism, but that's fine. We make up names here, it's what we do. And what's he going to do with this? Does elect to pick up the sentries. Void Ray, 4 Sentry, not a common harass technique you see. It's going to be interesting to see how this works out. TLO very much still in the dark, just went ahead and took his 4th, possibly assuming a quick expand from Hasu, which hasn't actually happened yet. Third timing somewhat late, which has to lead me to believe he's going for some type of timing attack. Here comes the Void Ray and the harass, but they're going to run into a bunch of Mutalisk. Void Ray taking heavy damage. He doesn't want to lose this expensive units down. He's going to go ahead and drop the Warp Prism, warping in Stalkers and the Sentries in the high ground. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage here. Mothership Core aiding as well, and Embedding going to be able to throw out Time Warps and Mass Recall if possible. Overseer, perfect timing coming in too to pick up any vision lacking. A little premature force fields used on 2 Zerglings, trying to keep those units as healthy as possible. We do have about a 15 supply lead by TLO. Having to pull joints, just drop the extractor very quickly. Does have his base up and running, but it is spotted by a Zealot, who's going to go ahead and take out another extractor if unchecked. These queens, and there we go. Have them idling a little bit too long. Instead, does take out a worker. Maybe 2? No, just missed it. Still got 1 worker, but we've got the base falling over here. Third base down by TLO. Huge damage going out. This timing hit so efficiently. No gas now. Restricted to 4. Only mining off of 5 actually. Has 13 workers on the gas. Huge mistake here by TLO. Seemed to quickly misclick, and he still doesn't notice, and he's just wasting tons of minerals right now. If we go to Income tab, look at that. Still ahead, but could be so much farther ahead, but it doesn't matter because Army's marching up into the Naturalist, taking out everything. Time Warp going down, beautiful, slowing down those Roach attacks while warping in more sentries coming in. This very gas-heavy Army still doesn't have a 3rd base up. This is pretty much all in at this point, has to do tons of damage. Already has, going to continue with this very aggressive pressure. Warp Prism still alive, no anti-air to take it out. All the Mutalisk are dead. Roach is attempting to do it, and there's the good game. Amazing game 1 by these 2 players. Hasu catching TLO completely out of position with a beautiful timing attack. Even though it was countered by the Mutalisk, he was able to warp him in at the perfect spot, then followed it up with a round of Stalkers that were able to do so much damage and position the Army perfectly to march, taking out all these structures. Maybe Mutalisk not the best build so far in this matchup.